Hey everyone, and welcome back. Have you ever just stopped and pictured it? Like really pictured a world where all that land ravaged by animal agriculture is like transformed back into these, thriving ecosystems. It's pretty wild, right? Well, that's exactly what the vegan land movement is making happen.
Yeah, it's truly inspiring work and something we need to be talking more about. They're out there buying land used for animal agriculture and just giving it back to the earth.
I love it. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore how they're pulling this off, some of their incredible achievements, and why this is the rewilding movement for those of us who care about animals.
I mean, absolutely. It's not just about protecting, cute animals, right?
Right.
This is about addressing a root cause of so many interconnected issues. Habitat loss, species, extinction.
All right, so are you ready to dive deep? We're looking at a movement that's really making waves, the vegan land movement. And to really get into it, we've got interviews, articles,
Even some...
social media,
Yeah, social media posts.
their constitution. We're going to see how they actually work, and the origin story.
You know, what impressed me,
What's that?
it's the results, the actual impact they're having.
Yeah.
Their species count from last year, 2024, showed this incredible increase in biodiversity on their land. Like, they recorded 121 plant species and 145 animal species.
Oh.
We're talking badgers, foxes, deer, all sorts of birds, insects. It's like proof that nature can recover, and fast, if we just give it a chance.
Yeah, those species counts are really encouraging. And, it's not just like casual observations. They do these like systematic surveys using proper ecological methods.
Okay.
So they can actually track changes over time, like really show how well their rewilding efforts are working. Plus, planting trees is not just about how it looks. It's like crucial for carbon sequestration,
Right.
soil health, creating habitats.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And what I find really cool is their long-term plan. It goes beyond rewilding.
Oh, yeah?
They want to do veganic farming, too.
Oh, that's right. Veganic farming.
Yeah.
So it's like they're saying, look, we can produce food sustainably and compassionately.
Exactly. It fits perfectly with their whole mission, creating a world without animal exploitation.
And that brings us to Gina Bates.
The founder.
Yeah, the founder of VLM. She's not just like passionate about this stuff. She's a pioneer. I mean, she runs...
The first vegan plant protein croft in Scotland.
It's groundbreaking stuff. And that experience with Highland Veganics, it gives VLM this unique perspective. She left her design career to live on a remote Scottish croft.
But that's where it clicked for her. She spent 2 months snowed in. That's what really sparked the idea for the vegan land movement.
The whole thing was actually inspired by a radio program about far-right groups using crowdfunding.
That's what Gina saw. She thought, well, if they can use it, why not use that same power for something good? Something that helps everyone.
Exactly. So she got together with some friends, 2 of them, and launched globalvegancrowdfunder.org. First, they funded Gina's veganic nut orchard. Then they helped the pig sanctuary. And from there, the vegan land movement was born. So they're a community interest company, a CIC. And they've got this asset lock, which is like legally binding, right? So no one can profit from this land, ever.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it. The asset lock basically guarantees that the land is truly held in trust for nature. I mean, the beneficiaries are the earth and everyone on it, not, some company or someone trying to make a buck. That's where their constitution comes in. They rely heavily on ecological experts, making sure they're making the best choices for the long term. They've got a whole network of ecologists and conservationists they work with.
So it's more than just buying land and walking away. There's actual science and strategy behind it all.
Exactly. And it shows how committed they are to working with nature, not against it.
Remove this land from one of the most destructive systems there is and planting a forest.
So this field behind me was destined to be used for dairy farming. But it was bought up by a group called the Vegan Land Movement, which crowdfunds to buy up land previously used for animal farming, which it then rewilds.
Our sort of catchphrase is a vegan world, acre by acre is what we're trying to create. And it is trying to give back to nature forever.
So creating the vegan land movement to actually remove land from the system, the animal agriculture system, and plant trees, it's the best tree planting for me. We need a movement that actually creates the alternative to land use.
Okay, so let's unpack this first.
Okay.
Can you just paint us a picture of the problem the VLM is tackling?
Well, imagine this. Okay, 80 billion land animals are farmed and slaughtered every single year. To put that into perspective, that's like wiping out the entire human population more than 10 times over every year.
It's staggering, and I think we rarely stop and think about what that kind of demand does to the environment.
Exactly. Animal agriculture is a driving force behind habitat destruction on a massive scale.
Yeah.
It gobbles up nearly 80% of global agricultural land, mostly for grazing and growing feed crops. To make it a little bit more visual, think of it this way. The land used for livestock globally is equivalent to the size of both North and South America combined. Biodiversity just plummet worldwide.
Yeah.
And animal agriculture is a leading culprit.
Where does VLM fit into all of this?
That's where the hope comes in.
Okay.
VLM is directly challenging this system by purchasing land used for animal agriculture and ensuring that it is never exploited again.
It's so proactive. Instead of just protesting, they're creating tangible solutions.
Right. And their approach is multifaceted. They call it compassionate rewilding.
I love that.
And it's about allowing the land to regenerate, naturally creating safe havens for wildlife.
But it's not as simple as just buying any old piece of land, right?
Right.
There's a strategy involved.
Absolutely. They carefully identify plots that were previously used for animal agriculture,
Okay.
ensuring that their actions directly counteract the industry's impact.
So smart. So how do they manage to buy these properties? I imagine it takes serious funding.
They've learned if they start shouting about their fundraising too early, it tips off, competitors, right?
Drives up the prices too at those auctions.
Exactly. So they've gotten good at keeping things quiet.
Under wraps. Until the last minute.
Exactly. They used to be really open.
Off their targets, yeah.
Even had specific fundraising pages for each plot.
Right.
But
Backfired.
it did. It was like they were sending out invitations to, often people in animal agriculture.
To come bid against them.
Yeah, exactly. So now,
Generic fundraising pages.
until it's a done deal.
Makes sense. Right.
Definitely. And it seems to be working. I mean, they've already secured 7 plots,
Wait.
and all through crowdfunding. They've really tapped into the power of collective action. VLM relies heavily on crowdfunding, proving that even small contributions can achieve incredible things when we work together.
I love that it makes you feel like anybody can be a part of this.
Exactly, and they've been incredibly successful with it. They actually secured their very first plot, a 3.5-acre parcel of land in Somerset,
Wow.
through this very method.
That must have been a huge victory, their first piece of land saved from the clutches of animal agriculture.
It was a symbolic win, for sure.
Yeah.
And it really paved the way for even bigger achievements.
Amazing.
This is the land where we blocked a chicken unit from being built, buyout number 3. And we planted a little orchard here, community orchard here, in its place. Sort of roughly 3/4 of this land is rewilding, and all the trees are really growing well. It's been so lovely to see them. There's not one that's not growing. And in the distance there we have plums, and there's several plums on each of the plum trees. And an apple, one of the apple trees. Yeah, so we're delighted. Haven't seen this since November. But yeah, every single tree, there's about 30 of them, a mix of apples, plums and cherries, and they're all growing really, really well. And the land around is just, it's just teeming with butterflies and bees. Over there last year we saw a weasel, so I'll head over there in a minute. SAR is over heading towards that direction. Yeah, it's just wonderful. This field was used for cows and sheep. When we arrived there was a buzzard that took off out of the field, so yeah, it's incredible to see. We will be recording all the species that we find. We've only just arrived, so we'll be recording all the species that we find today.
Plot 3? They swooped in and bought it.
Right out from under...
From under those developers who wanted to build that massive chicken unit there.
Huge. It would have been huge.
Stopping that's a win, a big one.
Absolutely.
Not just for the animals, but, well, for the whole environment, right?
Oh, totally. But, securing Plot 3, it wasn't just about stopping one chicken unit.
Right.
It was about preventing more development in this really biodiverse area. They're thinking long term, like connecting habitats, restoring the bigger picture.
And that sneaky way they go about buying the land, that's clever, right?
Oh, their stealth approach.
Yeah. It's a testament to the impact VLM is having.
We have completed the second planting of native saplings on Dairyland Buyout 4. Another 750 trees, native saplings, plus another 100 oaks that were grown by a friend. And I think the light might be catching them all into the distance. Hundreds and hundreds of trees. We've dedicated this area of land to somebody called Herman Kastner. He was used to be on Twitter. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He was very passionate about the land, and he donated to this plot. He actually helped us secure this plot and remove it from dairy farming. So it feels really emotional to have completed this plantation of native trees to help save species in the name of Herman. So this is called Herman's Woodland, and it will always be known as Herman's Woodland, and I know that he would be really, really happy and proud to see all these baby trees that have been planted. All the guards and mats, everything is biodegradable. We don't have to do anything. We will be coming back and monitoring species, but this is the result of community in action. Thank you to everybody who donated to remove this area of land from dairy farming. You're amazing.
Their wins with plots 6 and 7 secured a combined 15 acres,
Wow.
providing sanctuary for a whole range of wildlife, including badger sets that were previously targeted by culls.
That's amazing. It's like they're creating these little pockets of resistance against this, destructive industry.
And it's not just about buying the land either.
Right.
They're actively blocking shooting rights on all their properties,
Sure.
ensuring no further culls happen on their watch.
So they're going the extra mile to create genuine sanctuaries where animals can flourish.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And did you see how fast they raised the money for that purchase? Less than a week? And how urgent people feel about this, right?
Definitely. It seems like people are finally making the connection between animal ag and all the problems.
Yeah, exactly.
That speed of fundraising, it's really something. It shows the power of like online communities.
Right.
But it's not just about the money.
It's about the message, right?
Yeah. Each donation, it's like a vote.
For a different future.
Yeah, a future where, compassion for animals and respect for the environment, they actually matter. But here's what's really remarkable.
Yeah.
These pockets of rewilding are showing incredible results, even in such a short period.
It's true.
Tell me more. What kind of transformations are we talking about?
Well, their species counts are simply astounding things. Vibrant ecosystems, just teeming with life-breeding mammals and birds, a diversity of insects, even adders, which indicate a healthy reptile population.
So it's really working. They're proving that if we just give nature a chance, it can bounce back with incredible resilience.
Absolutely. In some cases, they've observed plots advancing through 2 stages of ecological recovery in just 2 years.
That's amazing. It's like hitting fast forward on the healing process. I bet it's amazing to witness firsthand.
It is truly inspiring, and it speaks to the power of this approach.
Yeah.
But it's not all about passively letting nature take over. They're actively involved in other initiatives as well.
Like what?
Well, for example, in 2024 alone, they planted over 1,230 native trees with the help of volunteers.
Amazing.
I can visualize it in my mind. I can visualize what we're planting because of all the different species, and they're all native species to this area that have been wiped out. It feels like we're restoring it.
They're also creating community orchards on some plots, showcasing the potential for sustainable, compassionate land use that benefits both humans and non-human animals.
It's so holistic. It's not just about saving animals. It's about rethinking our entire relationship with the natural world.
Exactly. And that's what makes VLM so exciting. They're offering a blueprint for a different kind of future.
A future where humans and nature can coexist in harmony.
Precisely, but it all starts with understanding the problem and taking action, and that's where the story of VLM's founder Gina Bates becomes so important. She had this vision of vegans uniting to buy back land and create a different future.
Yeah.
And it's resonating with people worldwide.
It's giving me chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is how VLM embraces this idea of letting nature take the lead.
Yeah.
It's like they're stepping back and saying, okay, nature, best. Show us what you can do.
It's a powerful concept, isn't it?
It is.
This hands-off approach.
Yeah.
But I imagine some people might wonder, how do they ensure that things stay on track? What about potential challenges like invasive species?
Right. That's a great point.
While they embrace rewilding, it's not a complete absence of management.
Okay.
They monitor the land, visiting several times a year to observe the progress and make informed decisions.
So they're not just buying the land and forgetting about it. They're actively involved in its restoration.
Exactly. For instance, they're very intentional about tree planting. They prioritize native species that support local ecosystems, considering the interconnectedness of it all.
So it's not just about planting any tree. It's about choosing the right trees to foster a thriving ecosystem.
Precisely. They've even planted trees specifically to provide food sources for the endangered hazel dormouse, a tiny creature that's considered a bioindicator of a healthy ecosystem.
Wait, a bioindicator? What does that even mean?
Essentially, it means that the presence or absence of this little dormouse can tell us a lot about the overall health of the environment, kind of like a canary in a coal mine.
Fascinating. So by focusing on creating the right conditions for these sensitive species, they're ensuring the entire ecosystem benefits.
Exactly.
Paint us a picture.
Well, imagine a landscape that was once barren and depleted, now teeming with life in just a couple of years. Some plots have gone from early stages of rewilding, dominated by insects and butterflies, to a stage where breeding mammals and birds have made it their home.
That's incredible. It's like watching a barren desert transform into this lush oasis.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's not just what we see above ground.
Right.
They're planning to conduct soil analysis to understand the impact on the underground ecosystem as well.
I bet it's teeming with life down there, just as the land above is bursting with biodiversity.
It's a testament to nature's incredible ability to heal and regenerate when given the opportunity.
It makes you wonder what would happen if we scaled this up. What if this movement spread across the globe?
It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Imagine vast stretches of land returned to their wild state, creating a tapestry of interconnected ecosystems bursting with life.
It's a beautiful vision. Is that something that VLM is actively working towards?
Absolutely. They see this as a key solution to tackling both the climate and extinction crises, two of the most pressing challenges facing our planet. They believe that by replicating their model in different parts of the world, we can create a genuine shift towards a more sustainable and compassionate future.
So they're not just content with rewilding a few plots here and there. They have a much grander vision.
Exactly, and they're not just sitting around waiting for it to happen. They're actively encouraging others to take action, to get involved, not just by donating, but by starting similar initiatives in their own communities.
It's a powerful call to action, reminding us that we all have a role to play in shaping the future we want.
It's about recognizing that we're not powerless in the face of these monumental challenges.
Right.
We can make a difference 1 acre at a time.
And VLM is showing us the way they've proven that it's possible to reclaim land from animal agriculture and give it back to nature.
And they've demonstrated that collective action can create tangible, lasting results.
Their achievements are truly inspiring, but I imagine there are still significant challenges ahead. The scale of animal agriculture is vast.
Absolutely. There's still so much work to be done.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important to support organizations like VLM to amplify their message.
Right.
And help them expand their reach.
Because every acre saved represents a victory for animals, for the planet, and for future generations.
And it's a step closer to realizing that vision of a world where humans and nature can coexist in harmony.
Okay, so we know there are other rewilding organizations out there. What makes the vegan perspective so important? I mean, isn't rewilding a good thing no matter what you eat?
That's a great question, and it really gets to what makes the vegan land movement different. It's about protecting all life, not just certain species. That's where the vegan part comes in.
So are they saying that other rewilding projects might be missing something by not thinking about the impact on all creatures?
Yeah, exactly. Think about it, a lot of rewilding is about restoring ecosystems to how they were in the past, which often meant animals being preyed on or their habitats disrupted, even by other animals. But the vegan land movement wants something different. They want a future where everyone thrives, without being exploited or suffering.
That makes sense. It's about a world where humans aren't the only ones who benefit from conservation, right?
Right. And that focus on protecting everyone is tied to their focus on buying land specifically from animal agriculture. It's not just about any land. It's about targeting the industry that they see as the root of the problem.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the doom and gloom of environmental issues.
It's true, the scale of these problems can feel paralyzing sometimes.
But VLM is a breath of fresh air,
They really are.
and they're not afraid to take a bold stance.
Right. While other rewilding efforts might incorporate regenerative grazing, the VLM draws a clear line.
It's a purely vegan perspective,
Yes.
ensuring that the land they acquire is truly a sanctuary for every being.
It's about disrupting that cycle of exploitation at its core, no compromises.
It's almost radical, isn't it?
It is.
In a world where animal agriculture is so deeply entrenched.
It is radical, but in the best way possible.
I agree.
It's a necessary disruption. VLM understands that we can't solve the problems created by animal agriculture by simply tweaking the system.
We need a fundamental shift in our mindset.
Exactly, a shift in how we view our relationship with the land and all its inhabitants.
And VLM is walking the walk, showing the world that a different way of living is possible.
And what's even more exciting is that their model is scalable.
Imagine VLM chapters popping up all over the world.
Imagine it, each one reclaiming land, creating havens for wildlife, pushing back against this tide of destruction.
It sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. A global network of compassionate rewilding projects working together to restore balance to our planet.
And it's not just a dream, it's already starting to happen. People are taking inspiration from VLM and launching similar initiatives in their own communities.
It's like that ripple effect, you know?
Yeah.
One small action creating waves of change that spread far and wide.
And that brings us to the most important question of all. What can you do?
Right, this isn't just a feel-good story.
No.
It's a call to action. What role will each of us play in this movement?
Maybe you're inspired to join VLM or donate to support their land purchases?
Yeah.
Or perhaps you're ready to start a similar project in your own area.
That'd be amazing. Going beyond just reducitarianism and considering a fully vegan lifestyle contributes to this collective shift.
Yes.
It's about moving away from that consumer mindset and embracing our roles as custodians of the earth.
If we truly believe that nature knows best, then maybe the most radical act is to simply step back and allow it to do its thing.
To trust in its resilience, to marvel at its ability to heal, and to find joy in being a part of this intricate web of life.
That's the beauty of it all.
So what can our listeners actually do if they want to help or get involved with rewilding?
Well, the first thing is to check out their website, veganlandmovement.com. They have tons of info about what they do, what they believe in, and ways to get involved. You can donate, volunteer, or even just spread the word.
Even just having these conversations, sharing what we've learned with friends and family, that's a kind of activism too, right? It's about raising awareness, changing minds, and planting those seeds.
And don't forget about your everyday choices. Suffering is inherent in the whole system of animal agriculture.
If we were to completely ditch animal agriculture,
You're supporting a food system that's better for the planet and for animals.
and that frees up land for rewilding. I'm thinking about supporting local rewilding projects too. You can even plant native plants in your own yard.
Absolutely. Every little bit counts.
What's amazing here is that all these people are vegans. It's like, it's just, yeah, to be planting with all vegans is just, look at them all, they're all dotted around. It's just amazing.
You know, after this deep dive, I feel so inspired.
Me too.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm in. I'm joining the vegan land movement. Their work is too important to ignore. I want to be a part of it.
I'm right there with you. I can already see a future where huge areas of land are wild again, where there's so much biodiversity and everyone can thrive. It's a beautiful vision, and we can all help make it real.
So to all our listeners, if you're feeling inspired, go to veganlandmovement.com and see how you can get involved. Remember, even small things make a difference. We can create a world that's fairer, kinder, and more sustainable together.
A world where both humans and nature can do well. A world that's wilder, kinder, and more alive.
Thanks for joining us on this amazing journey into the vegan land movement. Until next time, stay curious and stay wild.